got PTSD, motherfuck the big three. Nigga, it's just big me, nigga. I'm winning like that, and your best work is a life hack.
You know that burning fat and losing fat aren't the same thing, right? Running or incline walking. Let's actually explain this. When you exercise, your body can get energy from one of two places, either fats or carbs. And what it chooses to
I'm Dr. Andrew Kudnick, biomedical research scientist, also an elite performance coach, and I've been studying the impact of nutrition in exercise physiology for almost 2 decades. That's a great simplistic way to explain it. However, you can also get energy not just from fat and carbs, but also ketones and other metabolites that are floating around the blood. But this is a good general explanation.
burn mostly depends on how hard you're working or what your heart rate is while doing it. For example, when you're doing something really intense, like sprinting or lifting heavy weights, your body needs energy fast, so it uses carbs since they can be broken down quickly.
That's partially true. For the most part, it's true that as exercise intensity gets higher, you burn more and more carbohydrates. But we have found in various studies that we've run that even individuals at low intensities actually can be predominantly glucose burning, particularly if they have some type of metabolic derangement or metabolic dysfunction. So it really depends on the individual and their metabolic health status.
Fats, on the other hand, take longer to break down for fuel, so they're mostly what's used when doing something a little easier, like walking on a treadmill. Okay, so knowing that, just doing lower intensity workouts that burn more fat would make losing.
So just to clarify, we've actually run randomized controlled trials where we put people on ketogenic diets or very high fat diets. And we've actually found that they can sustain very high intensities, over 85% of their maximal aerobic capacity, while burning predominantly fat. So we do know that fat can actually be a fuel source at high intensities, but for the most part, it is true that you burn more carbohydrates as you get higher and higher intensities.
Losing fat easier, right? Well, not quite. What people forget is that your body is pretty smart. So when you burn more fat and less carbs during a workout, your body just ends up burning less fat and more carbs later in the day. And the same thing goes in reverse. Whether you burn 500 calories using mostly.
That's actually a really good nuanced explanation. So if you were to do, let's say, fasted cardio, you do tap into more fat stores, but overall, how you burn fat is going to be dependent on your total caloric intake, your energy expenditure over the entire day, not what happens in a small window of exercise. How much fat or carbohydrates you burn during exercise is much more important for athletes at the very top end who are worried about optimizing their performance and pulling from the right type of nutrient at the right time.
Carbs by running for 30 minutes, or mostly fat by walking on the treadmill for an hour and a half. At the end of the day, your body will always burn the same amount of total fat. Actually, losing fat only happens when you burn more than you store over time, aka whether or not you're in a calorie deficit. The best form of cardio is the one you like the most, or hate the least, since that's the one you'll actually do.
I think this is a great overall video. I think it gives a lot of important nuance, but there are some things that require a little explanation.